if there's a thing that says import audio,
yes,
and I hit that, the reason I hit it was because I want to import some audio.
Yeah, actively.
And then
now.
if I hit import audio,
yes,
and it comes up to a page with nothing on it, that there's no import audio options. There's nothing.
Yes.
There's only the file that I did wind up finally becoming able to get in there, right?
Yes.
And then you say hit the question mark.
Yeah, which is smart.
Well, the thing is, I go to hit the question mark, and I get some instructions.
Yes.
It says if you want to import audio, open up the third-party app.
Yes.
Hit the share.
Yes.
Share to Podbean. All right.
Yes.
So then, I do it. I go to voice memo.
Yeah.
I hit share. I hit share to Podbean.
Yes.
All right. And then, I open up Podbean, all our recordings.
Right.
And it's not there.
But it does tell you.
But when I want to look for it, what I do is I hit import audio.
Right.
And up comes a list of audio that I have already imported.
Yes.
That includes that one file.
Yes.
My takeaway is
yes.
that import audio button down here is not an import audio button. It is this is a list of your imported audio.
That's true.
Would you like to look them over? Would you want to look at them? Because here they are. So there is no function in the Podbean app by which mans can go and import audio.
Using common sense, right.
So the UI on this is not sufficiently developed. That's not, no. All right, that said, we just discovered that the audio quality on the native iOS voice memos is a lot better than the audio quality on the Podbean application recorder.
Yes.
With the native mic.
Yes.
With just the iPhone mic.
Yes.
The quality is a lot better. I don't know if that translates to the Lavies.
Well, I think if like we were recording and one went dead, we could just pull them off and remove the dongle. And well, here's the thing though.
Then
we'd be live. We'd have to end it.
Podbean.
And you'd have to,
and we'd have to.
You'd be in Podbean hell. Yeah.
We would. So what I'm thinking is we're going to not record using the Podbean.
Oh, we'll just record using my recordings.
We're going to record using voice memos.
Right now, today?
I think that's what we're doing today. Because whether we use the native mic on here or we use the lav mics, a difference in quality is a difference in quality, and it could translate over. And then we need to side by side the quality we get out of this episode
against what we already have. I feel like I've listened to some of our episodes at least 5 minutes, and they sound really crisp. And we just got feedback that they sound really good with the lavaliers.
Let's start off with that feedback. We'd like to thank our friend Bob for some feedback on the sound.
Yes.
It's something I never do, so I need to
Yeah, I know.
We're not doing it. The episode hasn't started yet. This is the
pre-glow.
Pre-glow?
I don't know what this is.
We don't know.
The pained expression.
This is the part where we're just leading the horse out of the stable.
To beat it to death.
Yeah.
Once more.
When I say leading the horse out of a stable, I mean that we're taking a skid steer and attaching a rope around one of its legs since it's already a dead horse, and we're just taking it out to beat it some more. By this time, it smells something awful.
It's horrible.
It's already swelled up and blown out.
Yes.
The viscera are all trailing, but then there's gobbets of meat falling off of it every time we hit it.
Delicious, by the way.
But, we go another year, and you get the xylophone effect on that still intact rib cage. So, we do feel like we're beating a bit of a dead horse because we keep talking about skateboarding, and skateboarding only offers so much thematic material, but I think you all have picked up on that. We are trying to talk about life with you guys. So I'm not life skateboards. So of course we love talking about life skateboards, but we are trying to talk about actual life, the one that God is the creator of. Duh.
Yes. Right.
I'm not dumb, you're dumb.
Right. Don't look at me like that.
I'm not crying, you're crying. Don't look at me.
Yeah. Don't look at me.
So.
I told you that in confidence.
So we are here in the upper sanctum with you guys. Our Facebook is live. The YouTube is canned, and we are sipping some coffee at 5 something in the afternoon. Always a smart move.
It's fine.
I still wind up sleeping like a baby.
Me too.
Every night.
Me too.
Is that a bad sign?
I don't know. Let's not put labels on it.
I project managed 2 roofs today.
There you go, son.
Yeah.
There you go, son.
Yeah. I project managed 2 of them.
Yes.
It was not. The second one was about 40 minutes away. It was a bit of doings.
How many trips to the Home Depot did you have to do?
It was Lowe's.
Okay.
And there were a lot. Not only did I have to go to Lowe's 1, 2, 3 times.
Okay.
4.
Wow. That is a lot.
It's not my fault.
Let's just start this off.
And it's not actually the fault of our company at all. In fact, I'm not even complaining about it because it is my job
Right.
to support the installation.
Right.
This is not a problem. I could go get things for the entire day just driving around and be perfectly happy.
Yes.
That wasn't a problem. But today I had to go to Sunbelt and rent a generator.
Oh, you ended up having to go and
The
rent a
electricity was off in the house.
Wow.
And our crew showed up and they needed to make some cuts. And I had just gone to get 6 sheets of OSB, 4x8 1/2-inch.
Yes.
I had just gone to get all this OSB, and we drop it off, and my truck hasn't come in yet, so I don't have the capacity with the Suburban to do OSB as easy. So one of our sales guys has a van.
Oh yeah.
And because we don't make our sales guys drive their personal vehicles.
Yes.
If we,
Right.
So once they're in the crew, a vehicle, and
Right.
so he's driving a good van.
Yeah.
I'm driving a Suburban, and I wind up, thinking this OSB is going to be it. And the guy comes out and he's like, "Do you have any nails?" And I'm like, "Framing nails, I do have them. I've got 21 degree framing nails. Got them, 21 degree framing nails."
Right.
And he's got a pass load paper shooter, and these are on plastic strip.
Bro.
And we're not even supposed to have to fuss with that.
Those are things that they're required to bring, correct, and then be reimbursable for.
We are more than happy to provide framing nails on a job, and I think that now that I know that they're running pass load paper strips and plastic strips, that I'll just keep $150 worth of each.
Yes, 100%.
In the kit, I build a kit out.
Yeah.
And I keep every single thing that I might have on hand, pipe, boots, of all different sorts.
Yes.
You're like 2 to 4s and you're 3 to 6s and all those. So I work hard to build out a good kit.
Sure.
But they needed I get back and they're like, "We don't have any nails to put this up with, and we don't have electricity to cut with." And I was kicking myself because I was on the way out thinking, I know I'm still driving my personal, which is not a problem.
Right.
I love using it, and my boss takes care of me on gas and stuff.
Yeah.
But I should load all my DeWalt cordless stuff in there. Now, we're not supposed to provide tools. That's not supposed to happen. But I just was like, man, eat my hat. Drove to Sunbelt, got the thing.
Yeah.
And then a funny thing happened. It took 4 flippin' ever for me to go to go to Lowe's, which was we have Home Depot near this job,
Of course.
and we've got accounts at all of them.
Yes.
So going to Lowe's, and I tried to buy this, 35-pound box of nails.
Yes.
It was very heavy, probably
Yeah.
16, 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm carrying it,
Okay.
which is fine.
Yeah.
And I go over to do a phone sale,
Yes.
and they're like, "Oh, we don't have anyone here to do a phone sale for you. Can you go to customer service?" And I'm like, I know exactly what's going to happen.
Yes.
I know it's probably all the way at the end,
Yeah. Of course.
which is fine.
Yeah.
But like, I don't see a sign that says customer service.
Yeah.
So I walk all the way to the end, and all it says is returns low down on the thing.
Yes, of course.
And I'm like,
this is probably it, right?
that fits,
Yes.
So I get down there, and I put them down on the counter, and I get a text. And it's like, yo, they need this specialty pipe boot. Because they
course.
had 2 larger than 4-inch
Yeah.
pipes.
Right.
They had an electrical service, and then they had an old furnace pipe.
Sure.
And I was like, yeah, I know what those are. So I was like, all right. So I went and walked all the way back to roofing, which is on the opposite back. So I'm triangulating an entire Lowe's store.
Right.
While I still have to pick up a generator.
Yes,
so I was in
right.
Lowe's for like an hour.
Right. Trying to get.
And I like that though, because so then I wound up just leaving the nails.
Oh,
I
you
walked
just
them
left
back,
and
and
forget about it.
put them back.
Yeah.
I put them back, and I was like, this is over, and not like super frustrated, but I was just like, all right, this is a patience day.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is over, and we're firing up the podcast in a minute here.
The Podbean.
Maybe we should try sticking with Podbean today. What do you want to do, Luke? Stick with Podbean
Yeah,
or
I think we ought to.
Okay, we're gonna do.
We have some that works.
Good.
I'm
clicking the plus button, clicking recording. I'm gonna turn this on.
It's bad boy.
Okay, that's connected. If it weren't connected, it would say so by some form of blinkings. Yo, don't let this thing go upside down, bro.
I know. I got your back.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know if it was intentional, honestly.
Yeah.
Just making excuses.
So, all right, we're gonna start this episode. Anyway, long and short, I drive out, I get a generator.
Yes.
And then I go back to Lowe's, I get the nails, I get the pipe boot, I
Yeah.
drive back to the site. By now, I grabbed my lunch because it
Yeah.
was getting
Right.
ridiculous,
Yeah. Right, of course.
And sometimes you just need to eat something. So I get my lunch, and that's when it happens. I get back,
Mm-hmm.
and they
don't
figured it out.
Yeah, of course they did.
There were 2 other things on the job where I wound up going, you know what? I think you can figure it out. And they figured it out.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
management skills.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes people are just trying to figure out how much they can get, which
No,
I understand.
I think they were just like me. We were paralyzed. We were looking for power.
Sure.
You can't just run around knocking on doors saying, "Hey, can we plug into your power?" That's not professional.
It's not
That's not where
professional.
my standards are at.
No, yeah.
And so that was cool. I liked it because my crew and I all working entirely in Spanish.
Yeah.
The crew we had a good time together.
Yes.
They seemed to really be like super like, oh, this guy really speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
And they started to really speak to me, and we started to discuss things.
Yeah.
And we started talking about how the Spanish I know, which is from school,
Yeah.
is so different to the Spanish they speak. So they would say something, and I would be like, I don't know that word.
Yeah.
What word are we talking about here?
Right.
And I would say it in Spanish.
Yeah.
And then I'd say, okay, so since I don't know that word, which is I'm saying in Spanish,
Right.
I'm like, since I don't know that word, let's describe it. Can you
Yeah.
describe it for me?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
spell it for me?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
is it written?
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, this guy can learn the
Yes.
word
Right.
for things.
Right.
And so they started teaching me words like
Sure.
more current words,
Yeah.
like a pipe boot would be a bota de pipa,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But it's not. It's un
Yeah.
pipa.
Oh.
That is not a
man.
Spanish word, but
Yeah.
that's the word. Yeah. So,
Right.
all right, we're gonna fire up the episode. We had a nice time talking about little tech stuff.
Yes.
All right. Well, this is on you. You've tuned in for another episode of the CapmLew podcast. What are you thinking? I'm your host, CapmLew.
Yes.
For what it's worth, we talk about skateboarding stuff.
Indeed.
We touch upon the world of Harley-Davidson motorcycles out of a pure enthusiasm.
Yep.
And we do tend to wind up cracking a Bible around here.
Sometimes.
Time to time. I'm here
Time to time.
with co-captain Luke.
Here I am.
Luke is probably the most important part of this whole thing. He keeps it on track. I thought of podcasting without you, Luke, and I don't want to do it.
Oh.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I will sometimes.
Yes.
But I think about it and I'm like, I don't think I'd be able to stay on track.
I got your back, bro.
Well, maybe when we fire up the workshop, we're
Yeah.
going to get that workshop fired up sometime this year. We are not afraid to push it off because workshops are life gobblers.
Yes.
And both Luke and I have busy and full human lives.
Human, even.
And
Yes.
we are only going to expand this podcast
Yes.
if we think the support to do that is happening
Yes.
to the right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know how to describe that, but it's got to work if we're going to work at it.
Yes.
We may have to work at it for it to work. So chicken or egg, man.
Yeah, I don't know, dog.
Yep.
I don't know.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, it's fine.
What flavor's your vape today, buddy?
I don't know. Somebody, a friend at work bought that for me because I was hankering. It's Cool Mint. It
Cool Mint.
sucks. Ugh.
It's named V Pro Jelly. It's probably a Chinese knockoff of the Elf bars.
Yeah.
We're not advertising that crap.
No.
No. Kids stay in school.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So,
Which is probably where they learned to vape.
all right, I made some cards for today.
Oh yeah, let's do the
So
cards.
well, I've got 3 cards in my hand,
Yes.
plus a little crib sheet. And this is not a new leaf. I'm not turning this over. It just happened.
Yes.
The first thing we want to do is thank the bike shop.
Yeah.
We want to say thank you to the bike shop. The bike shop is a killer good place to get your Harley fixed or your import bike.
Yes. Even.
Yep. And they're on 620 Carr Street. Carr, C-A-R-R Street. Down in Queensgate in Cincinnati. So the bike shop, 624? I don't know. 642, 47, 74.
The
Right.
address is simple.
Carr
6
Street.
Carr Street.
That's right. Carr Street down in Queensgate. Right off of...
In Queensgate.
I keep wanting to say Dunlap Street.
Yeah,
but
but
that's
it's
not it.
It's Dunlop.
It's not.
It's Dunlop Alley. You'll find. You just use a Google. It's fine.
Also, we'd like to thank Life Skateboards for the skateboards that we ride
Yeah.
and for making them well and making them with an inspiring process. 2 hardworking people working very hard are putting out Life Skateboards. I was there last weekend
Yes.
and it was absolutely a zoo of orders in work, and it looks beautiful to see them being made. Had a great time there.
Absolutely.
The third card is that I have to ask for tech and promo help. I think that's the card where we ask you guys whether any of you can pro bono us some help to promote this podcast.
Yes.
Our content will expand beyond this room, whether or not we get this kind of help, but it will speed us up.
Yeah.
And get us along our, I don't know, journey.
Journey.
I hate that word.
Yeah,
I hate the misuse of that word. But yeah, the overuse of journey.
Journey.
It ranks it up there with moist.
Moist. Oh my gosh, dude. That's despicable. Journey. I don't know. A voyage, perhaps? If we're doing nautical stuff?
Voyage.
Yeah, voyage.
Oh, bienvenue à notre voyage. Tout le monde.
You should do the entire intro in Spanish.
You know what? I should do a French and a Spanish intro.
Yes, that would be beautiful.
That'd be great.
Bienvenido.
Yes.
CapmLew podcast.
Favor de mantenerse las manos en el carro. No, it's, what does it say? Manténganse sus manos y pies adentro del carro. keep your hands and feet inside the car.
Yes, right.
I can't.
Bienvenido a
What is it? Cuidado.
Disneyland.
Las puertas. It's in the airport.
Yeah,
it's
so
always
good.
the same. I used to have it completely memorized, and it was in that
so
voice.
Good. I love it.
It was good.
Oh, so good.
Today's podcast is we love when someone sends CapmLew questions at gmail.com.
Yeah.
That is CapmLew, CapmLew. We have this little tagline that just came out, for what it's worth.
Yes.
But at this point, if you're still one of our listeners, our tagline should change to, "This is on you."
This is on you.
This is on you.
We're just victim blaming our audience. You're tearing this podcast apart.
You're tearing this podcast apart.
Yes.
So please get on CapmLew questions at gmail.com. Send us a question and please tear this podcast apart. Please destroy the CapmLew podcast.
Yes.
We love these questions. What's our question?
Bob Lofton asked a question. I said his
Bob
name.
Loblaw?
Bob Loblaw.
Bob Loblaw?
Yeah.
Attorney at law?
Exactly.
Have you gone on his website?
Yes.
Bob Loblaw's Law Blog?
From Arrested. Yeah, you get it.
It's so good.
He asks, or he says, I would like to hear you guys talk about skaters you really like to see skate.
Ain't nobody want to hear that.
What makes their skating look good to you? Is it because it makes you want to skate when you see them? Do the superhuman skateboard things like Mega Ramp move you at all? And I would like to clarify that this question is not, who is your favorite skater? It is, can you guys please talk about skaters you really like to see skate? Which I like much more.
I like that.
Yeah.
I had a meaningful conversation yesterday with a young man, a guest in my home.
Gad.
He's 18.
Okay.
He was a friend of my son.
Okay.
They were sitting. I got a mob of college kids at my house right now.
A literal mob.
I've got a couple of people just graduated from high school who are locals, who are their friends, and they've all been going to shows and doing a whole bunch of just gallivanting. I don't know, probably rummaging around in abandoned buildings and tagging freight train cars.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I just don't want to have to bail anyone out.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
Or raise an illegitimate grandchild. So I this young man was there, and I was able to ask him a ton of questions, and he was so articulate.
Oh, I love that.
That I asked him, I said, would you be interested in being a guest on the podcast?
Wow.
Yeah, it reminded me of that SpongeBob where there's this old man at the bus stop that they keep beating up in this one episode, the mob. And he keeps going, "Oh, I love the young people." And they're like, "How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?" Yeah. And I was feeling like, I love the young people.
Yes. Dude,
yeah. I thought, yes, let's hear from the young people. That's that's actually, there are these sound bites. I write them on cards.
Yes.
So soundbite, SpongeBob, young people.
Yes.
The other soundbite I want to get on the show is a soundbite from Bob's Burgers.
Yes.
Because that's hip hop. That lady, that's so good.
Yes.
I mean, the real life lady is great, but the Bob's Burgers one,
it's
the best part about it is how dreadfully similar they both are.
Yes. Yes.
So good.
Yes.
That's quality.
It's pure art.
Because that's hip hop.
Yes,
so good.
Dude. Yes.
But the young people. So Bob's inquiry.
Yes. Inquiry
seems to be more into, because you guys have heard us talk about people we like.
Yeah.
To listen to, watch rather, in skateboarding. There's almost nobody we like listening to.
Almost no. I can't even think of one right now.
When the offerings are Hawk versus Wolf and the
Nitrous Club.
No, the Nitrous Club, the Nine Club, and there's
what is it, dude?
The Blem,
the Blim,
the Burn, the Berm,
the Edge,
the
what is it, dude?
The Bunt,
the Bunt,
the Bunt,
the Blunt. Yes.
No, it's the Bunt.
It is
the
Blunt. It's not the. It's the trick, not the. And it's fine.
No blunts were harmed in the filming of this episode.
Yeah.
So
no.
Yeah. if I tell you with the bunt, if I hear someone tell me be like, yeah, man, that's dope, about something I don't think is dope, one more time, I was like, no, that's not dope. That's destroying young people.
Yes.
I don't know. That's not dope.
Yes, it is not.
So,
gosh, dude.
nah. God bless the guys at the bunt.
They're just, I don't know.
It's
they're
high
doing,
production. It smells like L.A. in there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they're doing what comes natural, I think.
Yeah, and so are we, and it's
Yeah,
good.
it's
There's
good,
different
yeah.
strokes for different folks. If you love the Bunt podcast, you probably hate this one.
Yes,
and you
so
know what?
much.
We agree with you. This
Yeah.
is a terrible, terrible place
Yes.
to come. In fact, I thought we should ask you guys to review the podcast and go ahead, be negative.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just destroy it. Burn it down.
Burn it down,
Get
baby.
in the comment section and
Yes.
just burn it down.
Scorched earth, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Turn this podcast into a parking lot, my friend.
So Bob is asking us about what we like. Can you
Yeah, let me-
open
let's
it
go.
again?
Yeah,
The tail end of it
yes.
seemed to bring it together.
I really like it. I'm going to read it again.
The
It's
listeners
like
are
2
like,
cents.
you guys are idiots.
Idiots. Yeah, well, that's on you.
But we told you.
Yeah.
This is on you.
This is on you. I would like to hear you guys talk about skaters you really like to see skate, period. What makes their skating look good to you? Question mark. Is it because it makes you, all capitals, want to skate when you see them? Question mark. Do the superhuman skateboarding things like Mega Ramp move you at all? Question mark.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm noticing, because this year when we started the podcast,
Yes.
I opened a Tik-Tok.
Oh, a Tik-Tok.
I did.
Yes.
I
recall.
started a CapmLew Tik-Tok. Now I had one before that. My youngest son was telling me that I forget what I was thinking of. Maybe I was making boards at the time.
Yeah. Or doing motorcycle stuff or something?
I was making boards at the time, but
Okay.
he's like, open a TikTok, and I posted a few things too. I think I just renamed it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I might have started a new one. So
Okay.
I started the CapmLew.
Yes.
and like Instagram, and Facebook both sent me like props.
Yeah.
Whatever. I obviously, if you're getting something for free, you are the product.
You are the product, yes.
So, not interested in your stars and things like that.
Yeah.
That I think on this, stars are enabled on this, and I have 0 stars received. Let's keep that record perfect.
Yes.
We don't want your stars. We do want you to support our work.
Right. Just not stars.
No.
Anything but stars.
Doll hairs.
Yeah, doll hairs.
American coin.
American coin.
Hard-earned
I
cash.
think we take silver or gold. as well.
Honestly, at this point, we need to open a P.O. box and
Yeah.
just ask people every month or two
Yeah.
to just send us a small silver coin.
Yes. That will work just fine.
Quarters and dimes before 1964.
Yeah, will work.
Absolutely. Send them on over, you know. We have a paywall. We ask that it be paid with pre-1964 pocket change.
Could you imagine trying to wrestle through all your change? Like really frantically trying to pay the paywall.
That's great.
Oh,
I really
man.
want to hear the next 40 minutes of this podcast.
Yes, dude.
Go 1962.
That's so
Oh my
funny.
gosh, we're the
Oh my
dumbest.
gosh, I love it so
We're
much.
dumb and we're bad.
It just makes me feel better.
It does make you feel better just to embrace the stupid. Just embrace how dumb we actually are. So, I'm sitting here thinking about our
Go
buddy
ahead.
Bob. Bob has been a
Yeah.
good friend.
Oh.
Bob is the one who introduced me to the term the small arts.
Yes.
And
a
Bob
great
he dabbles in bloggery.
Yes.
He dabbles in freestyle tomfooleries.
Yes. He's a real intellectual kind of guy.
Bob is a gentle soul.
Yes. We need to save them all. Yes.
Seriously.
I would go to war on Bob's behalf.
I don't-
You know what I
I
mean?
have a feeling you
Yeah.
wouldn't need to.
Yeah.
Bob is also an
yeah.
aficionado of some
Yes.
ancient arts.
Yes, which is sick.
Yes.
Yes.
I love
Well,
Bob.
I would be honored if Bob would go to war for me.
Yeah, I'm saying. Like, you're like, oh, right, button, before you can even square up to the
Bob's
dude,
got the gun.
Bob's already pretzel tied him.
Yes,
It's
dude.
just like arms and fingers
Yes.
sticking out.
Yes.
You didn't grow up with Beetle Bailey, did you?
I don't even know who that is.
That is an old cartoon. It's World War II era, post-World War II. It's
Oh,
all about
yeah.
this underperforming Army private,
Yes.
Beetle Bailey.
Yes, I
And
remember.
it's pretty cool. And the Sarge is this big, beefy
Yes,
Army chub dude.
of course.
And he constantly thrashes Beetle. And then Beetle is drawn in the bottom of the page with line art.
Yeah.
And there's a foot
Yeah.
and a hand.
Yes.
And then you can make out his head and his
Yes.
nose,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, right.
That's
pretty much what would happen to anybody who messed with Bob.
I love that.
It's so sweet.
The idea of it. I'm sure Bob
Yes.
disagrees.
Yes. He says, "Oh, be quiet.
He has a gentle spirit.
We cannot go, Bob. We are compelled to speak."
So Bob's question strikes to the heart.
Yes. Yes.
What did Jeff Grosso call it? The
Junside air.
no, he had an episode that was called the elemental core, the underlying philosophy.
Yes.
That was the name of the Van's Love Letters episode.
Yes.
Why didn't he get paid really well for those?
Because they already had the bunt. Every time. It's
Oh,
like a wash of
literally.
PTSD.
It
dude.
literally burned the side of my face.
Yes. Dude.
Listen, guys at the bunt, we know that eventually you guys will probably listen to something like
Yes.
this. I bet you guys are curious, interested people, and
Yes.
probably find out there's a new podcast. And if you
Yeah.
happen to be listening to this one, we got love for you guys
We do.
over there at the bunt.
They seem
And
like really cool dudes.
they seem nice.
Yeah, they seem really nice.
But that's where you run into trouble with me.
Yeah.
I don't think that niceness
Yeah.
and real
Goodness.
nobility of
Yeah.
goodness
Yeah.
occupy the same space very often.
That's true.
The controversial Jordan Peterson
Wow.
has a lot of discourse about clinical research in the psychological field
Yeah.
into an attribute
Mhm.
known as agreeability.
Yes.
Agreeableness.
Yes, agreeableness.
Agreeableness.
Yeah.
And it's borne out in some opinions of some people that too much agreeableness
Hmm.
is gonna cause the system to jam up.
It's true.
So I am not amenable and will not be agreeable toward several ideas that are very, very popular. And one of them is that it's cool that you smoke weed when you're 15.
Yeah.
Not cool. It's actually a really huge problem, so stop it. I don't mean to the kid who's smoking weed, just stop it, but to the culture,
Yeah.
to the media, to the bunt, stop saying it's cool.
Yeah.
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 Now do porn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oof,
Also
dog.
profoundly damaging to
Yes.
us. That's
Yes.
not saying that I haven't looked at it. It's
Yeah.
not saying that I'm better than anyone. If anything, I'm weaker than most people, which is why I live my life. I'm trying to live really careful.
Yes.
It's not strength.
Yeah.
It's weakness.
Yes.
Get it straight.
Right, correct.
But back to the young people.
Yes. You were talking to your son's friend who was extremely
Oh, he was
articulate.
just super, super good at answering questions. And I asked him the same question that Bob is asking. I said, what is it that you love watching
Yeah.
and that you are drawn to in skate media that you like watching? And he brought up the Genesis videos
Okay.
on Thrasher. And I thought, I need to watch those. I want to get to
Yeah.
know this kid.
Yeah,
I want to get to
absolutely.
know these people,
Yeah.
all the young people. How many times did she just look old man? Right? I almost got Beetle Bailey'd a couple times.
Yeah. Yes.
So, I've been offered the Brooklyn Beatdown.
Yeah. Well,
I've taken up the offer several times when I lived closer to Brooklyn.
yes.
It's not fun.
No.
I've lost so many fights.
Dude, long and lonesome. And I'll lose this one by God.
I've had my ass kicked by guys half your size. This is going to be so easy for you.
Yeah, dude.
You'll have trouble even remember you did it.
My entire defense mechanism is just building them up.
This is a brand new shirt. Let me take it off.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, are you squaring up? No, I'm just getting ready.
Yeah, I'm just getting
For you
ready.
to beat me to a pulp.
Yeah, welcome to
I
the
need
onslaught.
something to use for a tourniquet.
Yeah, that's it.
So, what do you think, Luke? What do you like? And also, I
Yeah,
love
go
that.
ahead, yeah.
Actually, Bob's question
It's-
sort of hit on the Nietzsche's Übermensch,
Yes.
the Übermensch
Yes.
of Nietzsche.
Yeah. Right.
Nietzsche,
Yeah.
superhuman,
Yeah.
the superhuman.
Yeah.
This thing, I don't find that to be inspiring. So
Yeah.
when you ask me about,
Yeah.
I think the first filter
Mm-hmm.
in me is have or have not.
Okay.
Allow me to
Okay.
explain.
Yeah, please.
This is huge. It lies under my surface.
Yeah.
I grew up in an era where the kids who lived near enough
Mm-hmm.
and were friendly enough with the kid who had a ramp,
Yeah.
they all became good ramp skaters.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I lived 20 minutes away with no transportation.
Right.
It
Stranded.
wasn't until I had a ramp myself that I could become a ramp skater.
Yeah.
And that engendered in me, I also experienced it with team sports and things like that. Like, there was no way my parents were going to shuck out $650 during an entire season
Right.
to keep me equipped and forget driven around and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
right.
You know, my dad was extremely busy, and my mom had a horse farm.
Yeah, she's doing horse.
She's
farms.
doing a horse
Right.
farm.
Right.
So it's not like you're just going to get driven around. This is a mom who, she's got freaking 1,000-pound lives on
Yeah.
the line.
Right.
We've got fences to fix, and we've
Right.
got stalls to muck and things to do. And she was working.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So I didn't get to play team sports. I was a have-not.
Yeah.
I didn't live in a neighborhood. I lived in a rural area
Yeah.
that had suburban neighborhoods.
Right.
And so I didn't have neighbor kids. There was no stickball, baseball, no doing none of that.
Yeah.
So I had like a pitchback I could throw a ball at. Did
Sure.
that for a while.
Right.
And I was quite lonely. And
Yeah.
then when I got into skateboarding, I
Right.
did that all alone. And then I discovered that there was this emerging subculture. A huge portion of it was kids who could afford the fashion
Yeah.
and the new boards,
Right.
but weren't digging in.
Yeah.
I was digging in, but I had to basically get dropped off a half hour from my house and scrounge rides and walk and skate miles and miles in order to hit spots and
Yeah.
do stuff.
Right.
So I look at it a lot, and the guys who skated ramps got really well known, and they got really good, and they
Yeah.
were a little older. They had cars, they could drive to
Yeah.
spots and skate pools and get photos and be in the. Some of the guys I skated with were in the Thrasher video series.
Yeah.
That's a major feather in your cap
Sure.
back then. You
Absolutely.
know, to be one of those guys. Back, I don't know if you watched those.
Mm.
There are 18 of them, I think. There was a box set of 18 of them.
What
And-
were they called?
They were called the Thrasher videos.
Oh, I don't think so.
1 through like 18 or 25. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they would have just footage sent in from guys across the nation.
Yeah.
And then they would just put the person's name at the bottom.
Oh, that's cool.
1 trick, 2 tricks,
Yeah, sure.
3 tricks.
Okay.
It wasn't parts, it was trick after
Yeah,
trick after
sure.
trick. And it was the beginning of skate videos. It was sort of their answer to the Powell videos.
Sure.
It was a good answer, and it went into the 90s. It was going until the 2000s. Anyway, long and short, that's my first filter is like when I look at Mega Ramp,
Yeah.
I see this is entirely a product of multi-million-dollar budgets.
Oh, for sure.
So
yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't even want to do it.
Like as soon as you see that, you're like, I'm good on that.
I couldn't be less interested in something that doesn't translate to my daily skating life.
Okay. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I've even got to talk to some of the Mega Ramp guys, and I've made boards for Mega Ramp, but
Sure.
I'm just not a fan.
do you have any like when I watch those videos, not so much anymore, but I used to have this feeling very strongly where you're just looking at it and you're like, oh, he's so high in the air. This is insane. You know, like you kind of have this mind blown. And I always felt like, man, this would be so cool if you could do this. That would be just so cool.
So that's a very different reaction
Yeah.
of mine, and it's a great one.
Yeah.
And I think I'm grateful you feel that way
Yeah.
for the sake of the listeners who are like, geez, Lou,
You
got no respect. You're a hater.
Well, just remember, it's on them.
It's on you. You're the one who tuned in. Just turn it off.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't. It's like looking at a
train wreck.
It is. Looking at a traffic accident. You can't look away.
Yeah.
You know. So.
It's definitely changing as I get older, but I'm kind of this question is a bit hard for me because I'm in a transitionary period in my skateboarding life where it has become far less important to me than it has been, and I do it far less than I have in the past. So I'm trying to figure out how to land it, you know, how to land that plane and figuring out, well, what do I like now and what do I want to do? But for a long time, or like vert skating, like watching Jimmy Wilkins skate to me,
magnificent.
it's like a piece of art.
Okay,
That's
so
how
Jimmy,
it feels.
Jimmy is fun to watch.
Yeah. So you don't have that. You don't have the same feeling about Jimmy that you do about like Bob Burnquist's multi-million-dollar backyard.
I really enjoy watching Jimmy Wilkins skate vert.
Yeah.
And I also enjoy watching Grant Taylor skate transition.
Yeah, me too.
Park transition
Yes.
and round wall.
Yes.
I really enjoy watching those. Why? They are both extremely smooth.
Yes.
They are like archetypal style.
Yes.
They're like the quintessential example
Right.
of what I think aesthetically
Yes.
skateboarding can be like.
Yes.
So I really do enjoy watching both of those skateboarders.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I enjoy that a lot.
Because of what they represent. Like I feel like if I knew how to oil paint but I wasn't very good at it and I went to a museum and I had like a painter that I really liked and I saw one of his paintings, I would have the same feeling that I do when I watch Jimmy Wilkins skate, where I'm like, this is the epitome of style and elegance and grace and just
it would be like if I was Bob Ross in my way through landscapes with just throwing I'm just happy if I can put a happy little tree somewhere.
Right.
And then I went to a museum and saw a Rembrandt.
Yeah, right.
And I would get up real close to it and look at the fine brushwork and like that.
Almost want to cry.
I saw one time.
Yeah.
And it was small.
Okay.
It was real small. I can't remember which one it was. It was a Dutch lady.
Sure.
I forget what she was doing.
Dutch stuff. Building dikes or something.
I don't know. Yeah. That's what those are like.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do anything but frontside grind on transition. I don't skate transition much over 5 feet.
No.
I don't hit the lip over 5 feet because if I can't run out, I don't want to run up it. You know?
Yeah.
And
FAFO, dude.
I don't want, if I can't jump up it, I don't want to jump down it.
Yeah.
That's old 80s skater said that. It's a really good quote.
Yes.
That's from Tom Knox.
Ah, beautiful.
Not the British Tom Knox, but
Right.
the American Tom Knox.
Yes.
So the skaters I really enjoy watching are the ones that I think, oh, I could skate with that guy. Yeah.
Do you, what are some examples? Do you have anybody who are like, yeah, this would be sick?
First in my mind is Tom Knox.
Yeah.
His Speed Freaks part was outstanding.
Yes.
It was scroungy.
Yeah.
And Matt Hensley's part in Shackle Me Not. I was like, I could skate with that guy. I could go out and do ollies on hips and things like that with this guy.
Yeah.
And I would get better.
Sure.
If I skated with that guy. That would be delightful.
Absolutely.
Eric Dressen, he skates really fast in his Speed Freaks part. I'm still back in the 90s. Early 90s and late 80s.
Yes, yeah.
But those are... and I watch a lot of TikTok, and I actually comment if you're a TikTok, like some of the old men on TikTok, or on Facebook even, and I've commented like, I'd love to skate with you someday. Like, you are one of the people that I watched what you're doing and thought I could skate with that guy, and we would have such a fun time.
Yes.
So the have and have not filter is the first thing. I'm not interested in skating on something that, because I'm not a thrill guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to do a giant jump on skis.
Yeah,
I don't want to do a big jump on a snowboard.
Yeah.
I don't want to surf a 40-foot wave.
Sure.
I don't feel a need to fulfill like a near-death experience level achievement. I don't have a bucket list.
Sure.
I'm ready to go. I've done a lot of cool things, and I'll probably do a lot more cool things, but I don't have that like need to. I don't have any drive that way.
Sure.
So I tend to resonate with stuff that's much more small, much more accessible.
Yeah.
I don't like slappy grinds very much.
Yeah. Sure.
Strange.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't like slappy grinds more. They're not that hard.
Yeah, it seems like that would be right up your alley. Like
Yeah.
something small and just,
You know, I'm a little bit of a hater.
Okay, that's fine.
And I don't think it's a bad thing, but the things that inspire me are in people.
Yeah.
So there are certain evocations.
Yeah.
When something evokes, it sends out a message. So some people's skating is very, very high achievement.
Yeah.
Probably just ruined everything. I have a relatively low respect for achievement.
Yeah.
I don't think that anyone can do anything, but
Sure.
anyone who tries really hard is going to do something that other people are going to think is impressive.
Sure.
And I'm kind of a yawner on that.
Okay.
I am, because like I'll look at something amazing on a skateboard and I'll go, well, yeah, that's what you get when you misallocate all of your time and you never build your character.
Yeah, right.
You're overly agreeable to
Sure.
a bunch of people who are going to give you opportunity to go to the $1 million facility.
Right.
Like when I get around really good skateboarders and they are a product of kissing butt on the industry, I'm super not impressed.
Yeah, sure.
I'm so not impressed by that. Like, you're really good at skateboarding, but you had to kiss butt on an industry that's got red in its ledger.
Yeah.
To the tune of dead people,
Ooh,
an overdose, and it's been capitalizing on just really wickedness.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of jaded that way.
Are there other areas in your life where you look at a person who has does something, whatever it is, and you have that feeling where you're like, man, this is so cool, and I want to emulate this in some way, or I really respect this, the time and effort that they put in this, whatever it is.
I feel that way about guys like Paul Washer when they preach.
Yeah, dude.
There's some guys who preach the gospel who are solid.
Yeah.
They are actually good examples of what the book is talking about.
Yeah.
They don't just know the book more than you do, and so they're flexing on you.
Right.
These people actually are living what the book is about. The best that maybe a person like can.
Sure.
And they're not popes and cardinals and religious experts and seminary guys. These are guys who they weep because they know the love of God that's in this. And I think that preachers like that make me go, man, I want to live this. That is, I went straight to that because that's where it's really where it really hits me.
No, absolutely.
Sometimes I'll listen to someone talking about God from the scripture and it really makes a connection. And other times I'll listen to someone talking about God from the scripture and I feel creeped on.
Yeah, right.
I do.
You feel like somebody's has their hands down their pants.
And it's not, it's usually it has to do with content.
Yeah.
Content and attitude.
Yeah.
It's not a style thing. This exists with me on motorcycles too. I really value we've lost the frontier experience.
Yes.
It's freshly gone.
Yes.
There are vestiges of the frontier experience. I just watched the series with Kevin Costner.
Oh,
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this series, Yellowstone, speaks of these things called cowboys and such. And I was watching it, and I'm like, this is Sons of Anarchy.
It is. It is.
Like, I was like,
Like
this
Cowboy
is totally,
Edition. Yeah.
this is totally Sons of
Yes.
Anarchy.
Yes.
You know, like taking these quintessential models of these ethical, these are ethical models and lifestyle models, and like playing them out. It's obviously a ridiculous soap opera
Yes.
of a show.
Yeah, just
You
all
know,
like
very-
stupid drama.
It's
And like,
it's inexcusable, you know, but
Right.
watch me excuse it.
Yeah, right.
But
That's so funny.
Those things are those evocations. You know, motorcycling can be evocative of times when things meant things that they don't mean as much anymore.
Yeah.
Boy, did that make
No,
sense?
they did. I'm really hearing you.
You're hearing me?
You're really
I hope-
speaking my language
I
right
hope
now.
you're hearing me too, dear listener, because that it's hard to get that out. Like,
Yes.
I endured the entire series of Sons of Anarchy
Twice.
at least.
Yeah,
I went back just to watch. The one time I went back through Sons of Anarchy was to try and see all the bikes. But, you know, they did not include enough working on bikes in it at all.
Yeah.
And that's what I really care about in motorcycling. And the other thing that they did not include, the second time I watched it was I watched all the murders.
Sure. Yeah, bro.
There are like 76. Jax Teller's body count is like 67 or 76.
Like so many.
62 people.
Yeah.
You're watching a series about a serial killer.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a terrible, terrible show. It is.
It's so funny you spend so much time watching media that sucks so bad.
No,
I love you
I
so
love
much.
watching
That's
media. I like
awesome.
to soak in what people are. My interest in the media I watch, a lot of it is not great media, but my interest in the media I watch is I go, oh, there's like millions of people who are just drinking in what this is about.
Right.
I want to know what they're drinking in. I want to think about these thoughts with the people around me.
Yeah.
They had a really shallow treatment of the idea of brotherhood.
Yeah, of course.
And there's a similar treatment of that sort of ethic in Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Which really sounds like it should be about wizards.
Yeah, Yellowstone. Just
Until
on
you
its
say
face,
it correctly, it's
Yes.
Yellowstone,
Yeah.
which we all know is
Yes.
an area of the
Of
country.
the West, yes.
But in regard to skateboarding, I am constantly looking for those evocations of simple.
Yeah.
I almost want to say the word pure, uncorrupted.
Yes. Yeah.
Discovery.
Yeah.
I shy away from like heavy expertise.
Yeah.
I came from a generation that watched as Tony Hawk and Christian Hosoi battled out this ramp. I was at a friend's house and we were watching it. I think on VHS.
Yeah.
Maybe it was on TV. I don't know, but it was on a little TV.
Yeah.
We were watching Tony Hawk and Christian Hosoi competing for blah, blah, blah at the blah, blah.
Right.
And I remember going, okay, so this one folds himself up and flicks his board around.
Yeah.
But that one looks like when a dolphin jumps out of the water or when an eagle
Right,
soars. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was watching it as a kid. I was 12 or 13. I didn't know much about this, but I was thinking, I like eagles a lot more.
Yeah.
And what is it? What is a dolphin but a water eagle?
Yeah.
Really?
A water eagle.
Yeah, because they soar.
No, they do.
Underwater,
They're
everything flies.
Amazing.
It either flies or floats, bro.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, and they even jump out of the water and stuff. Or a porpoise. I don't know what the difference is.
A porpoise.
Look it up. This is on you. So I when it comes to the stuff that I like in skateboarding, it's a little bit hard to put my finger on sometimes. I like watching new discoveries, but I like watching new discoveries that are not battled for. I like when it's a eureka moment more than I like when someone is cursing and throwing their board. And I like a good curse word, okay?
Sure.
That's a truth about me that is just true. I like, as it was said in the Wisdom of the Ages, a sentence enhancer.
A sentence enhancer, yes.
But I don't like watching someone be impotently frustrated. I always make this trick. Why didn't I make it that time? 62 times in a row. And I'm the guy who's like, yeah, man, we know you can't make that trick, so maybe calm down.
Yeah, right.
And that's not an agreeable disposition.
No.
But that's a disagreeableness that you can count on me for.
Yes.
And you get what you get.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
As we're talking about this, I'm thinking about a time in my life that I think translates. I was in South America on a mission trip, and skateboarding related, and we were on the coast of Chile, pretty far south. The water was probably 40 degrees all the time. It's super, super cold. And there was this part of the beach you could go to where the rocks had fallen, and it wasn't sandy, it was all just a jumble of rocks. And we were out there probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 at night, and the sun was starting to go down.
It is a really stupid place to be.
Hush now. We weren't like, it wasn't dangerous. It was just, it was so beautiful. And this town was called Pichilemu, and it's a really well-known surf location. So a lot of people there surf. And we were out there standing on the rocks watching these massive waves, like bigger than you've ever seen, like 30 feet, 20 feet, just come in and crash against the rocks. And the sound was really, melodic and like just a pleasure to sit and hear. And at the same time, the sun was setting over the ocean. And because of the water in the air, you could actually stare at the sun when it got 5 degrees above
in the red phase.
Yes, yeah, it was in the red, and you could just watch it, and it was going down, and literally watching it move down below the horizon, and having this really like overwhelming, just so beautiful. And as this was happening, I looked out, and this guy was on a surfboard, probably 500 feet away from the shore, and I was learning how to surf and realizing how difficult it was, but really loving it. And this guy was on this little itty bitty tiny short board, and he was riding these 20-foot high, 30-foot high waves. And it seared into my memory, and the way that I felt, I had this like deep longing and
to shout, do a kickflip.
Do a kickflip. Yes, exactly. Do a kickflip. Hey, kook. Yeah. It's so funny.
What was your deep longing?
Well, I had this deep longing, and for a long time I thought that the deep longing was just to be out there with him and to be able to be having this experience that was so dangerous, but that looked not just fun, but like I was watching this scene happen that was intrinsically beautiful, but he was like inside of it, like he was experiencing it. And I'm realizing sitting here, I think a large part of what I wanted, which I think is really normal for men my age, is he represented true expertise in something.
We're talking about that brotherhood.
Well, not only that, but he was a person who had spent large portions of his life surfing. So when he was out in the waves, he looked like a freaking dolphin. Like, he was so good at it. And the way that he was cutting down the waves, which is the way that I like to skate, but it was on like a 20-foot high wave over and over. And then he's paddling out and he's sitting on the swell. He's going up and down. Yeah. And he represented to me, I'm realizing, a person who had spent his life doing something and had become so good at it. It was like second nature. And it's funny because the thing that I liked wasn't that he was surfing these huge waves, and he was. It was that I could see that he felt so comfortable. Yeah. And I wanted that then, and I still want it now. I'm in this weird life journey right now where I'm trying to figure out, well, I want to spend the next 60 years doing something and becoming a true expert, even if that expertise does not equate to real skill. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'll watch somebody hit a curb or do a frontside slash. I see that in you sometimes when you do your like backside 360 no complies, you have a way that you do them that's just totally enthralling to me because it represents literally tens of thousands of times that you've done it. And that's what I'm looking for. That's what it evokes. It's like true. It's so silly because it's just like a backside no comply. But I get this feeling inside of me, this deep longing to want to have spent time doing. You're literally laughing at me.
I'm laughing because I'll go skate. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at me because I'll go skate and some kids are just. I love the mouths of babes, dude.
Yeah.
And a kid will say to me like, this has happened a lot of times.
Yeah.
Especially back before Instagram.
Yeah.
Kids would say like, "Are you pro?"
Yeah, right.
And
I've seen
I'd
that.
say, "No, I'm just 35."
Right.
And you just got to watch the only trick I know.
Yeah.
And I just never stopped doing
it. Right. Yes. Yes.
And
that's what I'm talking about. Like that's the thing. I think that's what I'm looking for when I see somebody that I really enjoy to skate. I don't do any freestyle skating, but sometimes I'll watch Bob skate and he'll do some sort of crazy movement and it looks like I could learn it maybe, but I could almost never. It would take me years and years and years to do it like he does because he spent so much time doing it. So that's the kind of stuff I look for when I'm skating, is something that evokes that longing to or something that represents hundreds of hours spent, gaining this expertise level, even at little tiny stuff.
let's level down.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's level down
Go ahead.
into Bob's inquiry.
Yeah.
What does your dream session look like?
That's interesting, dude.
Yeah. Who are you with?
Oh, that's interesting.
You can say a type of person or a person and where are you? What are you doing? What's your dream session?
Gosh, I don't know, dude. That's a really hard question. I think that I'd want to be with my buds, with people that I really trust and like, and people who interact with skateboarding in a way that makes it fun. But I also like skating with people who challenge me to do things that I can't do as well. So, my friend Aaron, you. I have a friend named Steven that I really like to skate with because he's super just steady.
Steven with a PH?
Steven with a PH.
Is it pronounced?
Steven.
It's Steven.
Steven. Yes.
Steven.
People like that. And I don't know. Right now I can just imagine like a Thunderdome of 2-foot high quarter pipes at like 85 feet long and curbs and maybe like a 6-foot high quarter pipe, but the transition is really mellow, so it's attainable. Yeah. And maybe that has noping on it, so when you do a front slash, you can really like across the top of it.
Yeah, on concrete.
And you feel like you're high or doing something like a little bit, higher level, but the transition allows you to be up on top of it and really get to enjoy the speed. And I love going fast, so I'd want to be able to have kind of a sprawl with really smooth concrete and perhaps some speed bumps so you could hit a line, maybe with some tabletops that are really easy to navigate so you can fly a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's like a dream, like that's what I love. And that's what I end up skating when I go out and skate.
In Colorado.
In Colorado. Here it's just cornfields and sadness.
When you were describing that surfer, I was experiencing an emotion.
Go ahead.
It was like anger.
Oh, I'm really fascinated.
Yeah.
Talk to me about it. Why?
Because, and I think it's jealousy.
Sure.
I think it's jealousy.
Yeah.
And it is mean.
Yeah.
It's nasty.
Classic.
Where I'm just mad.
Sure.
I'm putting my mitt under my arm and taking my ball and I'm going home because I'm like, I've got a case of the must be nices.
Sure.
Oh, it must be nice to grow up near the beach, and the entire nation is enthralled through the 50s with the California surfer thing.
Of course.
But it's like less than 5,000 people actually, maybe 20,000 people actually had the experience of being a 1950s longboarding California surfer with a Woody's truck and
Right.
surfboards on it, and it's on album covers, and it's across the entire nation, and people in the cornfields are California dreaming on such a winter's day.
Sure,
you know?
right.
And so you see all this bile, all this bitterness in me. It's nasty.
Yeah.
Because I had the same thing as a kid. I'm like, oh, of course you guys are king of town.
Yeah, sure.
You know, your parents are supportive. My parents tried hard.
Yeah.
My parents, I love my parents.
Yeah.
And as a kid coming up, I lived with different kinds of parents than a lot of kids around me.
Yeah, sure.
My parents didn't want me in Little League. That wasn't their dream for me.
Right.
So my parents didn't know how to get behind skateboarding, because back then skateboarding, you couldn't start an Instagram channel for your kid and make $3,000 a month on passive income from posting pictures of your kid, which is a dark and I think almost always nasty thing to do. Yeah. Stop that.
Right.
I don't know. Is that my shirt?
No, this is mine. I think you gave it to me.
Well, it must be because I didn't like it.
I don't know. I think maybe somebody else gave this to me. What?
I don't know.
You want it? I'll give it to you.
I have one like that because I didn't buy a bike from Harley Davidson, but I did trade a bike for a bike.
Yes.
At Harley Davidson.
Right.
Subsequently,
it's a great shirt, dude.
Subsequently, they committed odometer fraud. Denied it.
It's fine.
They wound up paying. They paid pretty dearly for that.
Yikes.
Yeah, you can't commit odometer fraud. Nice job, guys.
Golly.
I hope they watch and listen.
Yes.
And just get pissed.
Yes. Yeah. I hope people are mad. What's your dream session? Do you have one in your mind? It's so hard to imagine it.
I'm just so negative.
Yeah, it's fine. Just let it out. I like it.
It really is like a 2 to 3 foot tall set of quarter pipes.
Yes.
And just a front side slash is all that has to be done today.
Yes.
Is just raking front side slashes on. I don't want pool coping. I don't love pool coping. I don't love a bull-nosed coping.
It's hard to get on.
No, it's fine if it's fine, but so often it's done so badly.
The relief is like 4 inches.
I am so tired of coping that sticks out literally 2 inches on the bottom profile of a bullnose.
Yeah, you can grind the bottom side of it. Right.
Why are you doing that?
I know.
You know, and no, you know what? Let's just get long, just long, soundful grinds.
Yeah.
You know, and of course I would do backside grinds, and of course I would do 50-50s and Smiths both ways.
Yeah.
I can back Smith.
Yes.
I never back Smith.
Yeah.
I can do so many things that I just don't do because I don't want to try hard. I don't want to have a battle. I came out here to relax. I want to do I want to and who would I want with me?
Yeah.
I really wouldn't want some of the epic skaters out there to be with me, because there's that whole like, try it this way, try it that way, How about I come out here and I do 100 of the same thing over and over again?
Sure.
Because I like it.
Yeah.
Rather than I would want to skate with some of these old guys who have these I want to skate with guys like Lyle.
Yeah.
And some of the guys that ride for Life skate. Oh, I know who's my dream guy. Pete.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Pete from Pete's Pigs.
My dude.
That's who I'd love to have a session with.
Yeah.
And Pete would be doing board grab layback stuff, and I would just be doing stand up front side grinds until something else came to my mind.
Yeah, right.
And then I would do that.
Yeah, sure.
And you know, and just roll out, ride the top, and roll in.
Yeah.
Don't even have to do a wheelie, which is what they are.
Yes. It's fine.
They're wheelies.
Yeah.
What happened to us?
I don't know.
I remember when they started calling them manuals. I was like, why are you calling that a manual?
Why?
There's nothing going on with your hands.
Right.
It didn't make any sense.
It actually doesn't make any sense.
And the kids who were calling them manuals didn't know why they called them manuals either.
They were just calling them that, right?
I also am rankled. You notice I'm rankled by over agreeable dispositions toward the authority structure of skateboarding's fashion media.
Totally.
And I also am rankled by unthinking cooperation with weird rules that they make a conformity funnel into the fashion media.
Yeah, sure.
What brand of truck you ride, what this, that. The only difference between this board and that board, both pressed in China or Mexico, is which heat sticker they put on them. Right. Oh man, I'll tell you, the Baker wood is the best wood out there. No, it's not. It's deluxe.
Right.
Deluxe is the best. No, Paul Schmidt wears a white coat and he says things. So his is the best wood out there. He uses tools to make them, and I'm like, that stuff just I glaze over. So I don't really want that.
Yeah.
I want a session that's just people who are content to do just something that feels good.
Yes.
You and I skate well
together.
together.
We have a good time. And Chris Gurley, dude, you know what? He's a gem to skate with. Chris Gurley is my dude. I love skating with Chris.
I enjoyed a great session with Chris.
Yeah, where?
In Memphis at the new skate park. They have another skate park.
Okay.
Toby is the older one.
Sure.
And I skated at the new one with Chris Gurley.
He's a treat.
I had a really nice time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Chris Gurley.
Yeah, we love
Thanks to the Gurleys for hosting me for that trip. My transmission.
Oh, that was the one. Yes.
On that trip, I drove 50 miles knowing that my transmission fluid and my coolant were totally mixed. Into Memphis.
You had a mixer.
And I drove a mixer into Memphis, and I drove around Memphis with a mixer.
Yeah.
Spitting mixed transmission and coolant out of the coolant reservoir. Because it was,
Yes.
And then I still had the same truck.
Yes.
And I had the transmission replaced twice.
Right.
And really do not like the transmission job that I have in it right now.
Right.
When I get my work truck, I am taking my truck over to that transmission shop, and I'm going to say, I will either leave this with you and you will fix it, or you tell me you're not going to fix it, stop wasting my time, and I'll just go to another place and I'll pay.
Yeah.
But you will have robbed me of a working vehicle, and you guys have done what is evil.
Yes. Yes.
So, what is this? He's the Bill Nye. Oh, he's talking. This is a comment from Miklos Katona, and he says he's the Bill Nye of skateboarding, but maybe he is inadvertently setting the stage for makers to be praised. Miklos, I want to tell you that what Paul is doing usually has the following effect. I call it sucking all the air out of the room.
Yes.
By giving anti-information about how things work and how they're made, by giving out these largely, they are pseudo answers to questions, whether it's risers, how many fingers behind the, all these things that he does. What Paul is doing has the effect of making people think they've learned something when they have actually not entered into the beauty of the complexity of, for a man to talk about ollies without using the word lever or fulcrum in like an hour and a half of discussion, I'm out. I'm super out. And I'm not a supporter of the effect of the lion's share of white lab coat input on how skateboards are made. The problem for the likes of the industry who want to throw on a lab coat and pretend to teach you about skateboards and how they're made is that if you really find out how skateboards are made, you're going to feel like maybe you can make them. And if you feel like maybe you can make them, some certain percentage of you are going to try it. And if some certain percentage of you try it, some certain percentage of you are going to succeed.
Yeah.
And if some of you succeed, some of you are going to like it. And if you like doing it and you do it long enough, some certain percentage of that group is going to have other people also like their work. And if other people also like your work, then you're going to sell them.
Yeah.
And if enough people go through that filtering process,
Yeah.
you will emerge at the end with a board maker just about every 500-600 miles in this country.
Yeah.
And those board makers will hold a capacity not only to supply boards into a market that can't take a 2% hit, right?
Ooh.
They will also undermine the legacy of all the pseudo information they've been fed. And people will say, man, it's really not like they pretended they were telling us it was.
Yeah.
And you'll discover that, like, Ben DeGrosse and Gifted Hater can talk for hours and hours and hours, and you're not actually learning very much. And they suck the air out of the room.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing this.
Yeah, that kind of media is like
That's why I get along so well with everyone.
yes. That kind of media is like when somebody does something and you're like, you need to apologize for that, and then they're like, oh, I'm sorry that you felt that way. You know, it's like it answers the question without ever answering the question. Everybody can feel like that box has been checked without ever actually having had that box checked, you know?
A lot of times people will come out of like we could clip that and put it on the
Right.
the
Tik-Tok.
Tik-Toks or
Yeah.
the
Insta-blob.
Instagrabblers.
Yeah.
We could do that, and there would be a strong response from some people that I'm being mean to someone, that I'm victimizing these industry people. But I want to ask you a question. What were they wearing?
Oh my gosh.
No.
Oh
It's
God.
actually a good one
Oh my
because
gosh.
this time they were wearing a white coat and calling themselves a professor.
Yeah.
When the thing that skateboarding really needs is someone to put on a pair of coveralls and become a mechanic and fix some of the things that really make things work. Or pick up a broom and push it. We need a janitor to clear out some of this garbage
Yeah.
that we,
Yeah.
But instead, someone puts on a white coat and tells you that this is how it's made, and you aren't ever going to do it
Right.
off of that information. They're sucking the air out of the room. It's
Yeah.
like when some notable pro proclaims loud and clear, my boards are now made in the USA.
Right.
And then very quietly, just days or weeks later, nope, they're not.
Yeah. Right.
And that's like, you ever hear the term controlled opposition?
Yes.
That's an op.
Yeah.
That's guys.
Right.
That's a psychological op. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a psyop.
a psychological op is as a psychological
Op
a
does.
psyop is as a psyop does.
Yes. Right.
When it does that, you got jammed. You just
Right.
you just got done,
Right.
and that's pocket picking.
Sure.
I don't like it. Now, someone might say, well, that's not what I meant to do. So what? It's what you do,
Yeah.
what the effect of your speech and behavior are, that is how you distinguish
Yeah.
between whether it's helpful
Right.
or harmful.
Right.
It's not whether you like it or whether it kisses all the, I don't kiss all the butts that
Line up.
that people have been kissing for years.
Yeah.
Right? I
Right.
think in this episode alone, I've already trashed 4 people. I trashed their work and their words.
Sure.
Not very agreeable of me.
Yes.
But I didn't trash their value before the eternal almighty creator.
Right.
That's not on the table.
Yeah.
So with that value established and maintained, let's go ahead and talk about the effects when someone comes out and they put on, a top hat and a tuxedo,
Sure.
and then they try to teach you, like an expert, or a lab coat. There should be a higher standard, and no one is. At least now it feels like people are allowed to begin to do this.
Yeah.
It seems like there has
Sure.
been progress.
Yeah, with Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, with the ability to self-promote and self-publish, I think we're seeing more of it, which is cool.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I think what you're saying actually connects with Bob's question. It's like, I'm so sick of the dried up Like, okay, you did a crook down an 800 stair. You know, I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me. You know, it doesn't represent to me what I'm after. And I think that the same can be applied to poor Paul Schmidt, who is wearing a lab coat, telling people that 2 fingers is the the most scientific metric to use for pop. You know, whatever that means. It's
tough.
It's tough, man. I end up feeling really bad. I honestly feel bad for Paul. And I don't know why. I just am like, man, I have a lot of empathy.
Here's what happens when I get in a room with someone like a famous guy like this.
Yeah.
Is I see their face and their hair. I
Yeah.
see their human body.
Yeah.
And I see that there's so much more to a person than their professional persona.
Yeah.
I also acknowledge that it's fine if a guy wants to be the public figure who claims to have all the knowledge, and and also I see like they've got a long history of surviving this long that I can't help but have some empathy for.
Yeah. Sure.
And I end up wanting to hug them.
Yeah.
And
right.
that's something that you can count on me for.
Right.
I probably make people want to punch me in the face, but when
them.
I meet them, I want
Yeah.
to hug them.
Yeah.
And I think that what I'm doing shouldn't be so rare, and it also isn't like there's not a problem here.
Yeah.
Shouldn't. I mean, I'm offering what I feel like is a fairly legitimate professional criticism. I'm not talking about a man's family or private life or doing some sort of ad hominem attack. I'm taking the speech and behavior of content in the public sphere, and I'm offering for what it's worth. And remember, you brought this on yourself by listening today.
It's on you.
That's right. I'm offering a critique. And I recognize there will be repercussions for these opinions about what my favorite session is and who I want to skate with. You know, I recognize that there will be repercussions, that I'll lose opportunities, and I'll, so what?
Yeah.
Really, so what?
Right.
I was never gonna get anything from any of these people in the first place. It reminds me of a time I received a message. I had been outspoken in a similar way about some real heavy stuff in the skate culture. And I received I received a message. I think it was in the form of a comment, but it was in conjunction with a series of messages.
Okay.
And this was a gatekeeper personality in a city, not my city. Not my city.
Sure.
And this was an influential skateboarder of pretty heavy clout.
Right. Of renown.
He was of some renown
Yeah.
in his city. And he had messaged me, and he had told me in the message, and I have these messages, I've got receipts.
Sure.
I'm not going to expose this.
Yeah.
But he said to me, hey man, I know what you're going through in your city, and I have to tell you something. I had said to him, like, we should meet each other and we should talk, because he had shared with me, he's like, I feel really torn because I can see you're a really good guy. That was nice. You know, I appreciate that. I can see you're a really good guy.
Right.
I can see what you're trying to do, and I respect and admire what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But I've always been on this side of this division that you're causing.
Sure.
You know?
Right.
And I said, we should eat together, man.
Yeah.
Like, we should get to the table and we should eat together. And he said, I want to tell you, he was so honest.
Yeah.
And I commend this. He was so honest. He said, I want to tell you, it's not going to happen. Because if I eat with you, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to wind up really sympathizing with your side of this divide.
Right.
And then it's going to ruin this good thing I've spent my whole life building, being this guy among these people.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to lose my place.
Right.
If I change my mind.
Yeah.
And if I eat with you, my mind will change and I'll lose my place. He could see it written on the wall, and I thought that was very perceptive. It was very vulnerable.
Right.
It was
honest.
It was honest.
Yeah.
But it was deficient in long-term reason.
Yes.
It was lacking in wisdom.
Yeah.
And so that was where it sat for like a year.
Okay.
But I persisted in my opinionated and disagreeable public discourse.
Sure.
Stirring the pot. And he sent me a message. I think it was a comment. And he said, all respect I ever had for you is lost as of today. You know, it was like this really heavy declaration.
Right. From here on out.
I started laughing. I was like,
oh no.
Oh, what will I do
Yeah.
without this amazingly helpful and useful, this bulwark of support? Wow. The roof will now fall because the main supporting column has been destroyed. Oh, I've lost your respect. Oh my. You mean all that respect that engendered within you a sense of connection. That connection that we had, that you wouldn't even eat a single meal with me because you were afraid that it would be transformative to your long-term trajectory. You mean that respect? You know, like I was sitting there thinking, and so when I think about all of the alienation that I cause when I bring up like the Bunt interview with Cater Silla. You know, Cater Silla probably doesn't appreciate my opining on his. It's public.
Yeah.
You know, and
those boys were making fun of him.
Dude, take clips of me dragging on my vape like they used to in Indiana. Like, take those clips and make those stupid gag
I know
reels.
gag
reels.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I'm ridiculous.
Yeah,
come on, ridicule me.
Yeah.
But I think that, that's what I think of, like, why being outspoken in a relatively disagreeable sense is legitimate, because what am I going to lose? Am I going to lose? Is Jim Thiebaud at Deluxe going to back the antisocial and violent behavior of a local Deluxe sponsored former pro skateboarder with still has a board on Deluxe? Never.
Right.
Never. That'll never happen.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Is he going to turn a blind eye? I mean, from his, like, who's the guy who can see everything? Sauron with the eye? You know, like he's up there on the tower, he can see everything. Is he going to turn a blind eye to open assault and court cases and things like that going on? So what?
Right.
So what?
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to die someday.
Probably.
This is very close to me in all this.
Yeah.
So when I decide who I want to have a dream session with,
yeah,
I'm thinking, like, I'm going to die someday.
Sure.
And I actually had a session with Ray Barbie one time. We were skating transition at the Bro Bowl skate park in Tampa.
Okay.
And I just heckled him.
Dude, you're such a savage.
We were skating, and there was a bunch of us untalented old guys, you know. Yes. And he comes through, and I was like, oh great, look who's here to stink up the session. And then he's like skating, and I'm like, excuse me, this is Adult Swim. Can you please get out of the pool? You know, and it was fun. It was fun.
Did he enjoy that? Was he smiling?
Of course.
Yeah, good.
No, of course, he got it.
Good.
He understood.
I love
he got it. I mean, who knows? He may have gone and cried on his pillow.
Oh, poor Ray. Oh, poor Ray.
This guy with the beard was mean to me.
I love Ray Barbie.
I tried to tell Jeff Rowley a dirty joke, but it fell flat.
Oh no, dude! Really? Come on, man.
It was awful. I was embarrassed before God. Jeff was fine.
Yeah, he was like, oh, that guy was
Jeff
weird.
was fine, but I was sinning.
Yeah, like, oh no,
I was
that's
sinning.
So funny. Yes, you'll have that.
I did have
that.
It was one of those. Yeah.
No, I really hear you. If I had a dream session, I only want people there who I intrinsically trust and who have shown that they have my back. And it's not a whole lot of people, you know. And if it would be a pro, I'd want it to be somebody like Ray Barbie or Lance Mountain, perhaps. I don't know, somebody who has heart and soul.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of them that I can think of that have a whole lot of heart and soul that I really respect and have spent any time in the fire of social criticism for standing up for things that I believe in, you know.
Yeah. When I was 15, I was an awkward, angry kid.
No.
Yeah. And I was trying to ollie over a garbage can on its side that was off a curb. It was like off the curb, over the garbage can onto the ground.
Sure.
And noses didn't have much kick.
No.
I front-footed and I tore out everything on the outside of my lead leg ankle.
Oh, I've done that before. That sucks.
No.
Oh no.
No.
I did the back leg.
Hospital level.
Yeah, right. Like shredded.
Don't walk on it for 2 weeks.
Right.
Unbelievable damage. Doctor was really clear. He's like, this would have been a lot better if you'd broken it.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
One of those, right.
And I fell on the ground and I was terribly injured. A skateboarder of local renown who has one of those clips in a Thrasher video.
Sure, right.
Don Carey. He was a football star at his Ketchum High School in New York, Poughkeepsie area, Doctors Falls, whatever.
Yeah.
He scooped me up because he could. He was strong.
Yeah.
He could ollie over anything. He was amazing.
Sure.
And he was one of the guys that had it all, kind of, but not really.
Sure.
Don had the character of humble beginnings.
Yeah.
He scooped me up like a friend.
Yeah.
And he was a few years older than me.
Sure.
And I was really young compared to him. So he was like an adult. You know,
Sure.
he was like cruising toward 20 and I was still just near 13, you know.
Okay.
I was 15, but you're just a little chicken boo when you're 15 years old.
It's true.
He scooped me up and put me in a car and I was driven to the emergency treatment place and they splinted me and sent me home. They x-rayed me.
Yeah.
And when I think of who I'd like to session with, it's not Don. Don and I didn't know each other well enough. I was a little kid. He was a big kid.
Sure.
But I think about would the people with me scoop me up?
Yeah.
And would they, even though I talk about the things I talk about, would they scoop me up? And I have a feeling that a lot more people than I think would do that. It's something that, you know, I've rolled up to skate parks right after a kid died. Yeah. You know, and you know, like head injury and died, you know, and you know, I've seen a lot of things, and so one of the things I think about when I ride my skateboard is like, you know, you're only alive for like 25 minutes and you're dead for you're on the other side of this for the rest of time, eternity, beyond time, you know. And so I'd like this to mean something. Yeah. But usually I just turn it into heckling people.
Yeah, you just take all that and just drive it.
It's what's going on. It's, you know, when I see people who are like, you know, mad because someone is blowing it, you know, and like that, it makes me, it provokes in me a sarcastic and it provokes ridicule. Yeah. Because that's a ridiculous waste of these opportunities, these fleeting and tiny slices of life that we get to have. Yeah. You know, and so I'm not a hedonist. I don't think the meaning of life is pleasure. But when we have a chance to enjoy riding the useless wooden toy, like let's enjoy, you know, this time. Yeah. And that's why, you know, like when we go to Florence, I just cruise around and then I just do a few tricks in the half pipe and I'm done trying to do, you know, big stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And this term that Bob Lofton introduced us to, the small arts. Yeah, the small arts. It's a great philosophical term, artistic philosophical term. Yeah. And those are the things that that I really enjoy. Absolutely. People who's someone who you love their skating but you don't want to skate with, Lou?
Oh, that's a good question.
And why? I have a couple. I have one or two.
Yeah, let me think quickly. Love their skating, don't want to skate with them. I love Grant Taylor's skating, but I've often wondered if he is a bit of a miscreant and somebody that I wouldn't enjoy spending time around. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of other people. And some people are so intense and kind of mean. I don't want to spend any time with them, even if they shred. I don't know. It's all juxtaposed against meeting Mike Peterson that one time down in Florida, and he was just so kind. He was so kind. I would skate with Mike Peterson. That's somebody I would want to skate with. I don't know. I think a lot of...
He was nice.
He was so kind.
He wasn't just nice. He was kind.
Absolutely straight up kind. I had no idea who he was, and he stopped and talked to me and gave me a fist bump, and he was just such a good dude. Perhaps I'm projecting. I don't know his life. I don't know. I'm having a hard...
Did you go to the Mexican restaurant?
Oh, yeah. That's the one where you peed on that lady's car while she was in it.
It was a guy. It was a dude's car.
This dude, yeah. Dude.
It was a dude's car.
I want to tell that story so bad. I don't know if that's a little bit private.
No, it's... We'll end with that.
Yeah, we'll end with it.
Tale from the road.
Yeah, from the road.
Look, I have recollections of this trip. I can't remember when the trip was, but I do remember that it was. I took you and Weston.
Yeah, and probably Donnie was there.
I took you guys down to Savannah late. This was one of the last road trips.
Yes.
One of the last of an era where 2, 3, 4, even 5 times a year I would go down to Savannah with my crew. Yeah. And we would do business on the way down, do business and skate, and just like it was cool. Yeah. And this trip was a little less cool. My friend Weston at the time was kind of rattling apart.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Love you, Weston.
Yeah, me too.
And you were very inexperienced and young, and
baby.
You were a mess.
I'm your babe in arms, yes.
And I didn't have any hate. Yeah. And it was one of the only trips that I actually had to drop a hammer and be like, what the what? Yeah. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that.
Yeah. Like,
people nesting in the van.
Dude, you guys. I told them, I was like, I've been doing this for years. Yeah. I've never had to have this conversation. Yeah. Like, I've never minded the way that guys, use space. Right. But we went with our Savannah friends over to Ed Austin Park in Jacksonville, Florida. Great park. I love going there. Yeah. And Mike Peterson was there, and he's the inventor of the Peter Blunt.
Yeah, which is a slid.
It's a slid ollie to front nose blunt.
And he did one in front of us,
and it was like 12 feet long on brick coping.
Dude, it was the most glorious.
That guy.
And he did ollies so high, he literally could have ollied over a hip over me standing fully. He was probably 8 feet in the air. And amazing.
So natural. And then he was kind to Luke.
So kind.
He was kind and empathetic in his demeanor. Yes. This is not a judgment about his whole life or anything.
No. Yeah.
But Mike is a guy who could be, because he rode for Consolidated, and we've had no good luck with Consolidated up here in the Midwest. Really, Consolidated is at ground zero with a lot of Jason Jesse's downfall. Yeah. The things they encouraged and like that in those days. And also, we got some Consolidated people up here, and they ran skate shops and companies that were just. There's so many reasons why it was illegitimate and unethical over the years, and so I've had a very low opinion of Consolidated as a business. Lots of people really love Consolidated, but their stuff was made in China. Sure. While they were judging you for which shoes you bought. Right. I just never could understand about being mean about things like that. Sure. The meanness of the culture that came out of that brand is something I just disown.
Yeah.
Like, I disown it. You
Yeah.
know? So Mike was there. We skated. There was a clique of scooter kids that were militantly disruptive.
Yes.
And
Dangerous.
I was sick on nicotine and caffeine.
Yeah, I remember.
Dehydrated beyond.
It was so hot.
I did in retrospect, I was really dehydrated.
Yeah.
And I wound up, I was telling the scooter kid, man, watch out or I'll run into you. Like,
Yes.
And that kid wound up figuring out a way to get run into by me.
Even though you were tailing another person.
It was unbelievable.
Oh,
We did a Dubs run, and I hit the kid, and I got hurt.
Yeah, you fell. Yeah.
And I was upset because I knew it.
Yeah.
Like I knew it.
Yeah.
The dog was acting a fool.
Yeah, I remember
He
that.
was a lot of work.
Yeah.
He was being a yapper and being so dumb.
Yeah.
And I had this car full of real idiots.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I said, forget it, man. We're going to a Mexican restaurant. I'm going to eat till I have a big belly.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
And so I ordered a beer.
Yes.
And what they brought me was a growler.
It was a Das Boot, dude.
It
huge.
was exactly what Dos Equis looks like.
Yeah.
But it was big. And I was like, I can't even get my lips onto this thing.
Yeah,
It's so
it was,
big.
It was like huge.
And I was like,
Yeah.
well, it's shaped. I'm not a big drinker.
Yeah.
So, and I was so tired and so dehydrated. I was very thirsty. And so I began drinking the beer.
Yeah.
And it was served in a bottle. And I always, when I drink beer out of the bottle, I just drink the bottle. But it was, so I was drinking the beer and I wasn't really thinking, this is a problem.
Yeah.
And so.
You drank the entire
No, I must have shared it.
No, dude, I think you drank the entire thing. It was
wasn't
like ice cold. It was so hot.
It wasn't that much
many.
then,
It was
because
probably three beers.
I wasn't sick the next day. It was probably the equivalent of three beers, which is a lot for me.
Yeah, it is a lot, but it's not so insane. Right.
And so I had this growler, and then we got out of the restaurant. It was really scroungy. It was dicey.
Yeah,
it was seedy.
For sure.
It was a seedy restaurant. And I went outside and I really had to pee in the parking lot. I had this dark corner in it.
Yeah.
I was like, nobody will know what's going on in that dark corner over there. So I went in this dark corner and I started peeing next to this car. And I wasn't peeing onto the car.
But very close.
But I was peeing, toward the tire with my back to the windshield, you know. So I relieved myself. And in this dark corner, you couldn't see anything. And I walked out of the light into the dark.
Yeah.
And when I turned around, there was a man sitting in the car. And next to him was a lady sitting in the car. And they had chosen that dark corner for their own reasons.
Yes.
So it was a mutual transgressive.
Yes.
There was
everybody just nodded and went
plenty
on.
of shame to go around. He wasn't mad at me. I wasn't shocked. So I just we all pretended we didn't see each other. And it wasn't like I exposed myself.
Funny. No.
But so I got in the car, and Weston was a bit of a nervous wreck that night. I love you, Weston.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit tipsy, and so I heckled him while he drove.
And it did not help.
No,
it did
not help. And I unhelped him into backing my car into a fence post.
You're like, don't hit it, don't hit it.
I'm like, don't hit it. And he sure did.
He did.
And he backed it into a fence.
It was
my
beautiful.
minivan, and I just
beautiful.
laughed because I just got a new lens for it.
Completely ridiculous.
It was fine.
Yeah, you were telling that story, which is awesome. I am thinking about a person who I would not want to skate with, and that person is Nietzsche Houston. I have heard.
Oh.
Really, I have heard that he is extremely mean, and I've heard stories about him that just put a really bad taste in my mouth. He made fun of a bunch of kids who couldn't kickflip, and I have that on good. From a person who I trust.
That would be an interesting article to get his comments on.
Yeah.
And to publish.
Yeah. Agreed.
That would be very interesting. It's interesting. We're leaving this episode on this kind of in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's on you.
It's on you, baby.
It's on you.
Go do something
You're
else.
the one who spent 89 minutes of your time listening to us guys. But if you, even if you hate this podcast, send us some money.
Yeah.
and see if someone can help us with tech and promotion.
Yep.
Many thanks to Life Skateboards.
Yes.
And a special thank you to the bike shop, 640 Car
that's what it
Street
is.
in Cincinnati.
Yes.
And let's hear it.
Yes.
CapmLew podcast. This one happened.
Yes.
For what it's worth.
For what it's worth, baby. Laters.
Okay, that's the pot bean.
The pot bean.
That's processing and saving.
Give me your lavalier so we don't.
Let's put this. Yes, let's not do the same thing.
The lavalier.
And it lasted.
It did.
It lasted.
I think we gave it a good drink.
Right nicely, Captain.
Captain.
Co-Captain.
Co-Captain.
So.
Please, Co-Captain.
Yeah. Well, we're here. We're doing yeoman's work, stirring the pot in skateboarding and in life.
Yes.
So.
If you don't like it, it's on you.
Deal with it.
Yeah, deal with it. Yes.
And I mean that in the way that stuck on my teeth.
Yes.
Sometimes my lips. Yes.
Stuck on my teeth.
That's
yes.
right.
Deal with
it. So there you go.
Yes.
Maybe we should do that as a soundbite, just the deal with it
Yeah.
part.
Deal with it.
Yeah, SB, soundbite, deal with it.
What's SB soundbite though?
Yeah, sound bites. These are my sound bites that I want to
Yes.
get for us. So we've got deal with it. We've got all the young people, and we've got that's because that's hip hop.
Yes,
yeah, we've
dude.
got those. So
Yes.
those are going to be. We're going to get one of them button boards as soon
Yes.
as you guys send us enough money.
Yes.
We're going to get one of them button boards,
We can just hit it.
and then I think we'll record our sponsors.
Yeah.
We really don't want to tangle with any intrusive sponsors.
Yeah.
But I mean, if somebody's got beard products out there that are worth their salt, I mean, you know, I'll take you on.
Yes. Come on.
You know.
Right.
Also, like, yeah, well, we'll get into the Harley stuff when the weather's warmer, and we'll do some of that stuff.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
I don't know, dude. We have so much content that
Dude.
we could be making,
I know.
but instead we have jobs.
I know.
What a waste!
What a waste. I know.
We could be making such dope
Oh my gosh.
content.
Stop.
The bunt would be like, "That's dope.
That's
man.
dope, dog.
That's dope,
That's
dog."
dope. I hope
Yeah,
I get
that's
to meet
dope.
those guys someday.
They're probably really nice.
They're probably super nice dudes.
I hope
They're
that-
like fun to skate
I hope
with.
that Nigel Houston is actually nice.
Me
You know,
too.
the thing is, people change.
And I have heard that maybe he's changed. 'Cause
People grow.
I've heard multiple things. I just don't like mean people. Don't be mean to people. Do not, especially if you're very good at skateboarding. The better you are at skateboarding, the higher amount of responsibility you have to not be a dick.
You know what
In my opinion.
the problem with me is if someone is mean, if someone's mean to like people and kids and people who are ungifted or unskilled,
Yeah.
I start sniping at them.
Yes.
Not like throwing shade.
Yes.
I might go ahead and just put like behaviors on blast,
Yeah.
maybe with or without mentioning them.
Yes.
But I'll do it in person.
Yeah.
Some of these people are really dangerous.
They get spicy.
I mentioned Jeff Rowley,
Yeah.
and like the night after or the night before I was talking to him,
Mm-hmm.
he got a huge street fight down
Oh,
on what's the strand called in Tampa?
Tampa Strand. I don't know.
The
dude.
Tampa Strand has a Spanish name. I can't remember what it is, but they have this strand of it's just Bob
So
Austin's so
dope.
dope.
Thanks, Bob.
They have this strand and it's called something street. I can't remember it now.
I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know.
man.
I don't know. But he got in a huge street fight.
It's like yerba mate or
Dude, that's the drink.
I know.
I'll
it's
look it
called
up.
that. Yeah.
There.
It's the main stretch in Tampa. It's where the cigar shop where they make your cigars for you right there.
Tampa Heights?
No.
Shonster?
No, it's the famous but where the bars are. The street where the bars are in Tampa.
Okay.
Oh, what is it called? It's on the tip of my tongue. It's something with a Y. Ybor City. YBOR. Ybor City is what it's called. Yeah. Ybor City.
Ybor, okay, yeah.
Ybor City.
I see it.
And there was this huge street fight.
Ugh.
Dudes getting clapped.
Yes.
You know,
of
like getting
course.
knocked out.
And there's Jeff in the middle of it.
And I missed it. I was there just like an hour before it broke out, but I'm a bedtime guy.
Yeah, it's like
You know.
8:30. Come on.
But I don't want to be heckling someone and have them punch my lights out.
Well,
That
yeah.
would be so awkward.
That would be so. Don't make it awkward. Don't punch.
Yeah, don't make
We're
it.
talking.
Don't punch.
Yeah, don't punch.
Don't punch. You'll make it awkward.
What's funny is that of all the times I've seen you heckle, especially pros, they take it so well. I think finally they're just like so believe that somebody's real. You know what I mean?
You've seen me heckle a
Yeah.
few pros.
Yes,
It's interesting. I've heckled some well-known pros,
Yeah.
and they look relieved.
They literally do.
It looks like it takes the pressure off
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. There's like,
I have heckled a few.
there's that guy down in Kentucky. I always forget his name. He
Yes.
writes for Nike.
He
was
is
a nice dude.
North
Brad.
Carolina. No, his name is. Sorry, buddy.
We love you.
We do. He's one of those hard scrabblers.
Yeah.
His
He
career
wears
is,
glasses.
His career is not like these guys work hard.
I know.
You know who's from North Carolina who had a really interesting career? Chet Childress.
What's he doing? Chet seemed to be a cool dude from the videos I saw.
Chet Childress is a gnarly guy who I imagine might not might not relate easily to a lot of my God-fearing stuff, which is all my stuff, right? But
is Chet
but the
Childress
thing is,
bigger
I freaking love that guy.
I know. His video parts are sick.
His skateboarding, he's not been agreeable to certain factions in skateboarding. I love that about a person when someone's got some flavor to them, you know?
Yes.
And
yes, this guy.
Chet Childress, man, he's put out some great video. His early work for Nike was really good.
Sure.
I wish that Nike had gone that way.
Yeah.
More than
Street League.
Yeah, I mean, but there was no way that Nike wasn't going to be about the street league and the kind of hip hop thing.
Yeah, they're trying to make money.
You know, yeah. I just I don't see it. I can see that young man in my brain.
Yeah, man. What's his name?
Who is that North Carolina skater? Good kid.
Yeah,
he's not a kid anymore. He's probably around 40.
I'll find him. Hold on, Jamie, can you find that?
Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle. Kyle, can you find
My
it?
gosh, that Darby Cast guy is so funny.
Yes, dude. A little medley, dude. What's his freaking name, dude?
Yeah, I know.
That's really good.
I'm not gonna shut this video down until we
we're gonna find it. I'm just gonna do Nike skate team. He'll be on here.
No, he's not on it anymore. Go do guy who skated for Nike from North Carolina.
Okay.
I see his face.
I know, me
and
too.
I know his name. And I heckled him so good.
I know, and he was so friendly about it.
I told him he
came up.
I told him he was jamming up our set, and I was post-op.
Oh yeah, dude.
I had 8
Justin
inches.
Brock.
Justin Brock. Love you, Justin.
Me too.
Goodness gracious. You know, the early Nike, they had this thing on one of their videos where they got one of those professional vomit machines.
Okay.
Did you see that? It was in the early SB Chronicles.
I don't think so.
It was their second, like, full-length Nike thing.
Yeah.
And you know where it's behind, it's like here.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, projectile vomiting was like a theme.
Yeah, right, in the video. Right.
Oh, I loved it. It was so funny.
That's awesome.
There was a freshness to that. That's back when Creature put out, I think, Hesh Law. It was around 2000. It was. And Vox was owned by skaters at the time. It took them about a year to run it into the ground, and the investors snapped it up and turned their shoes to grease.
Oh, of course.
But
was it Nothing But the Truth?
No.
In 2007, Nike SB Nothing But the Truth?
No.
Oh,
maybe on. I don't know. Did you look up Nike vomit?
Yeah, fake
scene,
vomit.
Nike fake vomit scene skateboarding. Nike SB fake vomit. You'll get it. You'll have to get it. And it was Chet Childress was like, whoa! You know, it was so good.
Dude, they have this curated in such a stupid way.
I think that skateboarding locks away parts of itself. The industry locks away people. They take the media down and make it hard to find.
I think they do too.
If it's not keeping with the mainstream,
it's so stupid. It's like how to lace your Nike SB Dunk lows. Like, wow.
How to lace them?
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Wow. How the mighty have fallen.
How the mighty have fallen.
How to lace your Nike SB Dunks.
Dude, and it's like, I don't even want to talk about it. The internet is a wild place. I'll just say that.
Yeah, but the problem is in skateboarding, it's a mild place.
Yeah.
I want the old stuff back. I want the people they buried. is it Henry Sanchez or is it Henry Gonzalez? I think it's Henry Gonzalez. Who they disappeared him. He got into a disagreement. He quit a team for a very big distro brand set.
DGK?
And no, it was an SF concern.
Okay.
And they disappeared him from everything. And he was truly an amazing skateboarder. And one of the enforcers for that brand,
yes, the Terminator,
beat him up.
Wow, really?
He was beat up by one of the enforcers for the brand.
Jeez.
And he went ghost.
Dude, poor guy.
Well, I'm not blaming that entirely on that situation.
Sure.
But he did an interview years and years later, which probably also has disappeared.
Yeah.
And he was like, that was just, can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't kiss those butts. That's what he didn't do, is kiss butts.
Yes, which is sick.
And he ripped.
Yeah. Sanchez and the EMB crew led the way during the highly innovative time in San Francisco skateboarding. Henry was the first person to flip out of a ledge trick, which is crazy. Probably not the first, but the first one to
It never
be known.
is, right? The first one to be known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today he works on hot rods and street metal fabrication, which is kind of
I don't think it was Henry Sanchez.
Okay,
I think it
somebody
was
else.
Henry Gonzalez. Maybe it wasn't Henry. It was a guy named last name Gonzalez, and he was a major. Try Henry Gonzalez.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I don't know if that was his name.
You big dumb.
But he was a majorly talented skateboarder, and he got on the wrong side of the powers that be, and that engenders in me a feeling of resentment.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
It
as
does.
It should.
I do pretty much openly resent that skateboarding is so tightly curated by such a group of people that actually capitalize on addiction, substance abuse, underage use of things that are brain chemical damaging,
Sure.
brain development damaging, and they're just fine with it. They've been fine with it for so long that
for so long,
you get
right.
Tony Vitello on the end of grief, and he's saying, we've been trying for a long time to start this conversation.
Of course.
And I'm like,
Has it
dude,
been that hard?
how many dead friends do we need
Yikes.
for this conversation to really get some traction? And you know what they'll do is they'll pay lip service to it, but they'll always hold it. Like Jenkem is always going to hold it so that there's still a strong base of encouragement for people to destroy themselves.
I wasn't able to find it.
It's
yeah,
fine.
no.
We'll find him later.
I'm really hearing you, my guy.
Well,
I really am.
we found Justin Brock, so we can
Yes,
sign off.
We can sign off.
It was the CapmLew podcast video version. For
Yes.
what it's worth,
Yes, the afterglow.
this is all on you.
Later. This is all on you.
Oh, it's still